Hey guys, this afternoon I am outdoors here actually at Currumbin Creek, Tallabudgera Creek. It's actually an island where the dogs can come and play, and this afternoon I'm jumping on a quick chat with Melanie Claire O'Connor. I'm really excited to have her jump on, and she's one of our guest speakers at Awaken event this weekend, and I'll let actually I'll just get the technology working, see if we can jump on and get this part going. And hopefully Facebook is our friend today. This will be fun. Hey Mel,
Hello.
how are you today?
Good, good, good. How are you? Good.
I'm really well, really well. Outdoor. Actually, I sound not that great, but I'm doing really well.
Yeah.
So all is really good. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Why am I congratulating you?
Because I just got married.
Oh yeah, this is so good, so exciting. Like, anyway, it's exciting for me. I've known Mel for quite a long time, and you moved from Australia over to Ireland, like to be with the love of your life, and now you came back to Sydney, you got married, and it's like a happily ever after. Not that it's ended or
Oh.
anything, but it feels really beautiful to me, to my heart, to actually see that grow that way. Um, yeah.
It
So
felt
anyway,
pretty cool hearing you say my name. I was like, oh, I like the new surname. It's cool.
yeah, introduction. Yeah, so speaking at Awaken event, this will be like the first public kind of gig as Mrs.
Yeah,
in that sort
cool.
of
Bring it on.
professional sense, which I love.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about you. What is it you do? How did you get into that?
Yes, big question.
No,
Diving
no,
straight
it's like
into it.
start with a little one, right?
No, no, no. We can dive straight in. It's all good. Hi. I started off life as an elite athlete in Australia. I grew up as a three-time world championship medalist for swimming. And, my first business was a personal trainer when I was 19 years old. And I built that to a six-figure business by the time I was 21. Went on to become a high-performance coach at the Australian Institute of Sport and help athletes prepare for the 2008 and 2012 Olympic Games, but realized my heart was actually with helping women. And when I was doing all that stuff with the elite athletes, I just felt like something was missing, and something that brought me joy was really seeing women come out of their shells and become who they really were. And so that's when I knew I had a bigger calling, something to do in that area. So I went full time into that. 2012, built that to six figures in 8 months online, with definitely the help of a mutual friend who will also be speaking at Awaken. And it feels like a very, very much a full circle moment for me as well, in a really beautiful way, being able to share and collaborate with you guys and just have an awesome conversation, raising consciousness and growing humanity in really real and powerful ways. So I'm super excited.
Yeah, me too. Um, and so we were talking about some different ideas for your talk, and I know what really drew me to invite you onto the stage was actually the amount of depth and study and practice you've put into this question of how do we create in a new way? Like, how do we actually vibrationally become a match for the world and what we're after, and actually use that inner world to drive the results in the outer world? So, how did you figure out that this was the way to do it? Like,
uh,
because you were all
yes.
out there, achievement, success, like driving and pushing all the strategies, and yeah. So
Yeah.
how did you come back into this conversation being so important?
Yeah, I'm a bit stubborn. So I tend to wait until the tap starts getting turned off before I start to pay attention. I am learning and I am getting there sooner now. But
Yeah,
definitely it was a case of getting to that six-figure mark and not having it be in a sustainable way or in a fulfilling way. And so for me, I was just like, something about this didn't feel right to me. It was all that pushing and striving and making it happen energy. But I'd been learning a lot of stuff about the direction that humanity is going in since about 2009, when I went on a spiritual quest around North and South America, and just discovering what was going on in the world. I could feel something was happening and I didn't know much about it. So I went exploring and figured out this new transition of energy and era that we're in, where we're seeing an
yep,
awakening of the divine feminine around the world. And, you don't need to, we see it happening. It's happening. We're a part of it. It's already on the way. And so I knew that there was this deeper thing going on. And I wanted to bring more of that into what I did, and that there must be a new way to create in this new era that's being born. And
Yep.
totally there is. And for me, it was just, I got so, with all that, you know, doing, making shit happen, doing things, I got so burnt out and run down. And I just started getting to the point where I was like, there has to be another way, because I can't sustainably live in this way. And
Yep.
so it was like a breath of fresh air, a big relief when finally I was like, okay, cool. I can do business in life as a divine feminine woman, manifest as a divine, in feminine energy, and still be as, if not more, successful in life.
Yep.
But, and you and I both, success not just necessarily even in our tangible results, but also in every area of our lives. So having a successful life, not just, you know, pushing, striving for one area of life to be good, but ignoring other areas, but no, letting life get really good across the board. So I think that's what I've invested a lot of time and energy in creating in my lives and the lives of those that I have the beautiful opportunity to work with. So, yeah.
Awesome. And what would you say is at the core of what you do? Like, what's, yeah.
Core of what I do, I'll do like so many different ways I can put it. What would I say? It's a shift in perspective from fear to love. Ultimately, I'm here to help humanity remember who we really are, right? And this era of transformation that we're in. And so the core of everything.
Okay, so that's just frozen. Okay, so we just froze a little here. Not sure if that's still working for you guys.
Yeah, we're back.
Okay.
Can you hear me? We're all good?
I can hear you now. Yeah, it seems to be back on now. It
Cool.
was this very
Sweet.
potent moment of explanation. It just started to go fuzzy, which you know, it happens. I don't know that our technologies, our systems are quite ready for transforming all the fear to love, but we're going to lead the way. So,
Yeah.
can you just share that again in case it didn't come fully through? So, what's so important about this shift from fear to love? Is it new, or is it something we've always been doing, or what's?
I think it's a bit of both. I think like it's been happening for a long time. I think like if we go really far back, I think a lot of human beings kind of World War One, World War Two, like we need help. And we've seen a lot of new awakened beings arriving since on the planet Earth who are leading this pathway into this new era. So it's a beautiful time to be alive. I think it is on the way and has been on the way, and we're accelerating it now.
Yeah.
It's a time of acceleration, I get the sense of. So I think, the core of it is all remembering who we truly are, the Christ consciousness within us. And there's so many different ways and so many different definitions. You know, in spiritual circles, they call it from 3D to 5D. In Course in Miracles, it calls it a shift in perspective from fear to love. It's people talk about the transition from your ego to your true self. Like it's all the same thing, different words put on it. And I think it's the transformation that we need at this time on the planet more than anything to start to see our situation differently, whether it be personally or globally, like what's happening in the Amazon rainforest.
Yeah. And I get this sometimes. I have two questions come through me at once, and and I'm going to go with the first one that's sort of hanging around, which is, it feels like a tangent, but okay, so I'll just follow it. Do we need to be okay? So first off, have you experienced like a dark night or dark night of the soul? Does that phrase resonate for you?
Yep, many.
Yeah.
Yes, to the point where now I like dig into it with gusto, like a kid playing in the mud.
Okay.
The first one was a rude awakening, but definitely it's been more than one, and I love it.
Yeah. And so how do you tell when you're in one of those times? Like what happens, or what's it look like?
It usually, for me, and I've seen it a lot in other people as well, there's definitely a feeling of questioning things, or like things that were working no longer work. Or if you're a little stubborn like me, sometimes shit hits the fan and it forces you to go down, right? So it's a little bit of that, but there's definitely this element of something in your life just doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah,
the old way is
definitely.
gone. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Or you're looking at it and you're like, this doesn't feel like me. Or sometimes someone wakes up in their career and they're like, what am I doing here?
yeah.
Right? So definitely like that. I believe it comes from crown chakra energy. A lot of people, that it's a spiritual condition, it's a spiritual transformation. And I believe it occurs with a crown chakra awakening as well, where
Yeah.
you start seeking a connection with a higher power. You start looking for purpose and fulfillment. You start looking for the reason why you're here, and you start redefining and recalibrating who you really are and who you're becoming in the world, and stop listening to, external. It's like sometimes I've found dark nights. It's like the outside world goes dark so that you can be illuminated from within. And there's a few versions of that and evolutions of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And do we need to have that darkness? Do you think?
It's a good question. Do we need it? I don't know. I think it serves a purpose, or it wouldn't be
Yeah.
existing. So I
Yeah.
think it does serve a purpose. And whereas obviously a reason why it still hangs around, like we live on the planet Earth appears to be a world and a planet of duality where we're here to learn from both the light and the dark. Therefore, we're here to dance with both the light and the dark within ourselves and in global consciousness.
Yeah.
Why? If it's within human comprehension, it's not. I don't know, but I just know that when I've chosen to work with the light and the dark and embrace both, life tends to work a little bit easier than when I try and push it away or pretend that it's not there. And so I think dark nights of the soul serve a purpose. And why? I don't know, but I choose to run with it.
It's awesome. I have a little bit of a theory I'm working on, and so I'm
All right.
starting to collect evidence. Not that you're like my test case or anything, but
It's all
it's
good.
more like um, I have a theory that it's actually a testing ground where we get to
Mm,
develop the potency of our skills, like our natural
cool.
gifts and skill set. They get, as you said, they get illuminated from within, but they get illuminated with a potency that we would not have if others were showing us every single step. And that a lot of what needs to come through in these times is new and innovative. We cannot learn it from someone else. So
True. Yeah.
that's my theory. I'm testing it
Well,
against the world.
I dig it.
Um,
It sounds pretty solid to me so far.
yeah. Um, so what what's one thing that you're feeling you might share with us at Awaken on the weekend?
Miracles. Talking about
Yeah,
manifesting miracles. We need a miracle with what's happening in the Amazon rainforest.
we
We
do.
need a miracle, and there's so many people in, whether it's dark night of the soul and you need a miracle, whether it's facing a divorce and you need a miracle, whether it's facing a bankruptcy and you need a miracle, whether it's facing a serious health condition and you need a miracle. I think a miracle is something that we can discuss and learn how to manifest them and work with them in order to transform global consciousness, see
Yeah.
problems around the planet differently, but also apply it to improve the quality of our own lives as well. So talk about
That's going to
miracles.
be really cool because we look at some of these problems in the world and like globally they're so entrenched with the politics and the government and the systems, and it gets so heavy to start
Yeah.
listening at it and looking at it as if it has to change linearly from the existing systems. But when we start to play in the world of miracles, of what else is possible, of how do, if we're outside the box of the
Yeah.
old, it has to follow something logical in a sequential thing that we can predict, then like if you follow that pathline, a lot of the timelines look really doom and gloom. It's easy to go into fear. But I
Yeah.
think keeping that focus that there is always a way.
Yeah.
Like there is always a way. We just don't, we have to surrender our ego to not knowing it. And
Yeah,
that for me
exactly.
is where we find the miracles. And I remember
Absolutely.
you did a talk or a course, you did a program on men, money and miracles.
Yes,
What's
I do.
what's that about?
Sacral chakra. It's all sacral chakra stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, men, money, and miracles. It's about the relationship with the masculine ultimately and transforming our view, because money is a form of support. and we use it to fund our desires and our needs. And the masculine principle is that structure, the grounding, the banks of the river that support the feminine to flow. So it is about a transformation with the masculine and doing it from a miracle-minded perspective, because I think we have a lot of healing to do between men and women around the planet. That is still true. Like we're on the way. We've still got a way to go, and there's a lot of forgiveness that needs to happen, I believe. And there's a lot of empowerment that still needs to come. And there's a lot of transformation in the way that we choose to see the relationship between men and women. So that's kind of where it comes from, and where we go to. It is freaking powerful. I get so many every time I run it, and that's why I built it to an online course, because I was like, I just need to give people these principles so they can work through it in their own pace, because there's always violent eruptions in the room. That's the level of depth of pain that's in women still. There's always volcanic eruptions every single time I've run it.
Oh, wow. As a live training, you mean? Like it brings a lot up. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Anger in women, for sure.
Yeah.
Which, when you've been oppressed for millennia, it's not surprising there'd be some anger there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's serious. It's awesome. It's needed. Like, I'd love digging into that stuff. But yeah, it's not for someone whose first point of call. It's not their first course. You want to be doing some work for a while.
Okay, so you got to build up to it.
Yeah, it wouldn't be my first course that I'd recommend someone do if they haven't done much personal development work. But if people love deep dives and digging into the root cause of stuff, then I think they'd have a huge, powerful transformation from it.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah.
And looking forward to 2020, we've got a whole new decade. There's less than 100 days, and then we're in a whole new decade. And what do you think this next decade's going to bring?
Wow. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, because it was sort of 2009 that I got clear on what my purpose was, and I started this path in 2009. Yep. So it was like right before the beginning of the last decade. So I was like, oh, wow, I've been doing this for 10 years now.
So what's the next shift, maybe?
Yeah, exactly. What's coming in 2020 onwards? I think it's about more women stepping even more fully into our power. This has been the decade of decade of the female entrepreneur, the rising of women around the planet. We've seen that, and I think it's time to go beyond just rising into owning, if that makes sense. Rising into, now it's about owning our leadership, owning our voices, owning our value, owning our authentic power, owning our authenticity sweet spot with what we're here to share in the world. It's not going to take us going up to this level. Like, I think it's going to take us staying at that level to be able to do the work we need to do, because it really is this decade that I think we're going to decide whether we're going to turn the ship around.
Yeah.
So.
And what's the most powerful thing people can do each day to be part of this shift, to shift from fear to love? Because it's so hard sometimes, like between family and jobs and bills and like all the life stuff. Like how do we keep choosing this?
It's a good question. And it is. It seems simple, and yet it's one of the most complex things you'll keep consciously doing, right? Yeah. So what I like to kind of make complex, try and bring things down and make them simple. Something I share in the Fab Mastermind is this: bookend your days with self-serving activities. It creates the pathway for more to be possible. And by book it, so it doesn't matter what you do. All that matters is that you bring your focus and attention inward and observe yourself. So even if it's 10 breaths where you bring your focus on your breath, and then 10 breaths in the evening, but doing that every day, it starts to awaken. Like, that voice can't help but come through when you actually nurture it. So it's just about doing something to bring your attention inward every day, and keep it simple. It can be meditation, it can be breathing 10 times, it can be journaling, it can be having a bubble bath, like whatever brings your focus and attention inward. It's probably the easiest way I can explain to start. We can go into all the complex theories, but it's just doing something every day to make that conscious choice.
Yeah. To connect and be you.
Yeah,
before
exactly.
you're anything else that the world layers on, sort of.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, this has been a wonderful chat. I am feeling this is probably a good length of talk for this, but do you have anything you want to share as sort of our final words or that you'd love people to know?
Love people to know that I think one of the greatest gifts that we're here to bring forth in the world is becoming who you truly are. And I'm looking forward to sharing and supporting you further in that on the weekend, and
Yeah.
anything in the future and anything I can do to support people in that, I'm all for. It's what I'm here for. So know that no matter what you're going through, there's always a way to choose to see this differently. And that's the fundamental shift in
Yeah.
perspective that allows miracles to occur. So
Yeah. Such a gift. And definitely, I've been looking out for more miracles as well, because I think they do happen more often than we think, but we try and logically make them normal. And
yeah,
we sort of try and explain them away. So I think that's something I noticed as well, is like you'll be hoping or praying or really dreaming of something to happen, and it'll happen, and then you go, oh, but it's just because of whatever. We
yeah,
start to negate the magic, and so it's really been, for me, part of honoring that magic has been
absolutely.
really important as one of my
Yeah.
practices.
Awesome. The way I put
Yeah,
that, to add to that just quickly, is
go for it.
just to add to that is is like the principle I sort of say is don't judge the miracle when it shows up. Because
Yeah,
often, it's easy to judge as like, oh no, I need it to look this way, right? And it'll often, especially when the universe has had a hand in it, show up differently than you expect. So the way I
yeah,
put that is just don't judge the miracle when it shows up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I can't wait to see you on Saturday. It's going to be
Ah,
wonderful. And
yeah.
yeah, talk soon and have a wonderful evening.
Yes, you too. See you guys Saturday.
Thanks.
Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday. Bye.
I will be there on the right day. All right.
Uh,